All right, the next topic we're going to cover are angle relationships. So these are key definitions on the left-hand side. Make sure you know them. They could be on a quiz. They could be on a test. So these are very, very important to remember. So I would highlight these to make sure that you understand them. So we're going to start with vertical angles. So this is a diagram of what vertical angles could look like. And the definition says that vertical angles are two angles that are across from each other when two lines intersect. And these angles are congruent. So when I say that they're across from each other, if I look here, they also form a V. So vertical starts with the letter V. And if I look at this, this forms the letter V. This forms the letter V. And they are across from each other. They share a vertex. They share a common vertex. So 2 and 4, angle 2 is going to be congruent to angle 4 because remember, vertical angles are congruent. So angle 2 and angle 4. There's also another pair of vertical angles, 1 and 3. They form the letters V. They share a common vertex. So angle 1 is congruent to angle 3. Those are vertical angles. Adjacent angles, adjacent, the synonym for adjacent is near or next to. So adjacent angles are two angles that share a common vertex and side. They are next to each other. So if I look at angles 5 and 6, they share that common vertex, they share a side, and they're right next to each other. So I can say that angle 5, the measurement of angle 5 plus the measurement of angle 6 is going to be equal to the measurement of angle ABC. There's not really much that I can say about adjacent angles. I just know that added together, it would equal the whole big angle. Okay? Complementary angles are any two angles in which the sum of their measures is 90 degrees. So if I look here, there's really two things I can say about this diagram. I can say that angles 7 and 8 are adjacent because they're next to each other. They share a common ray, they share a common side, and they're next to each other, but they also add up to 90 degrees. So I know that because of this marking right here, which means a right angle. So I can say the measurement of angle 7 plus the measurement of angle 8 equals 90 degrees. Okay, any questions so far? Ask Ms. Patterson. Okay, let's look at supplementary angles. The supplementary angles are kind of like complementary angles, except now there are any two angles in which the sum of their measure is 180 degrees. So in this picture, these are adjacent angles, and they're also supplementary. So I can say the measurement of angle 9 plus the measurement of angle 10 is going to be equal to 180 degrees. So that's the big statement that I could make. So if I look at all these different angle measures, take a second here, pause the video, take a second and go over these real quick on your own, and then we'll go over them. All right, so number 1, these are going to be adjacent and complementary. Number 2 is going to be adjacent. Number 3 is going to be supplementary and adjacent. Number 4 is going to be vertical. Number 5 is going to be supplementary. And number 6 is going to be complementary. So you'll notice not all complementary angles are adjacent, like up in number 1. Not all supplementary angles are adjacent, like number 3. They're two separate angles. Okay? All right, let's take a look at some more. All right, go ahead and pause on your video and see if you can do number 7 through 12 if there's time. If not, maybe do a couple of those and then we'll go over them together. So looking here on number 7, angle 2 and 3, those are going to be adjacent and complementary. Number 8, if I look at 3 and 4, those are going to be adjacent and supplementary. Number 9, angles 1 and 2, those are adjacent. I can't say much more than that. Number 10, angles 3 and 5 are going to be vertical. Number 11, angles 4 and 5 are going to be supplementary and adjacent. Number 12, angles 1 and 5 are going to be adjacent. So that should help practice giving you ways to name those angles. All right, let's look about finding the angle measurements. Okay, so if I'm looking for x, the first thing I need to do is identify what kind of angles these are. These are vertical angles, and I know vertical angles are congruent. So if this angle is 107, angle x is 107 degrees. Number 14, these guys are right angles, so they add up to 90 degrees. So x has to be 18 degrees. Take a second to see if you can do 16, 18, and 20 on your own, and I will give you the answers for those when you come back in. All right, so number 16, x and 54 are complementary. So x is going to be equal to 36 degrees. They add up to 90. Y and 54 are vertical angles, so y is going to be equal to 54 degrees. Z and x are going to be vertical, so z is going to be 36 degrees. Number 18, I know that these all add up to 180 degrees. So when you add them all up to 180 degrees, you can say that 51 plus x plus 18 equals 180 degrees. When you combine like terms, you get it that this is 69 degrees plus x equals 180. Subtract 69 from both sides, and I know x is going to be equal to 111 degrees. That's how we're getting 18. Board's messing up here. Okay, I'm going to get it. All right. Number 20, I'm going to start with W, and I know that W and 34 degrees are complementary, so W is going to be 56 degrees. I know that 34 and Y are vertical, so Y is going to be equal to 34 degrees. I know that X is going to be supplementary to this guy, so X has got to be equal to 90 degrees. And I know that Y and Z are supplementary. So if Y is 34 degrees, Z is going to be 146 degrees. Okay? See if you can take a second and get the word problems on your own. So pause it and see if you can do that for a little bit. All right, hopefully you got a chance to do that. It says G and H are supplementary, and angle H is 51. So 51 plus X equals 180 degrees. Subtract 51 on both sides. X, angle G. So notice my answer is not X. It's going to be angle G is equal to 129 degrees. Couple of things. When you're talking about degrees, you have to have that mark. If not, I'll take off. And it's asking you to solve for angle G, so I put angle G is equal to 129 degrees. Angles 1 and 2 are vertical. If angle 1 is 128 degrees, angle 2 is also 128 degrees because vertical angles are congruent. So angle 2, the measurement, that should be the measurement, sorry. The measurement of angle 2 is 128 degrees. Okay, so 23, J and K are complementary. So if angle K is 73 degrees, what is angle J? Well, complementary angles equal 90, so X is then going to equal 17 degrees. So I will say the measurement of angle J equals 17 degrees. So notice how I'm answering those questions. Not with X, but the measurement of angle J. If you have any questions, ask Ms. Patterson, and those videos should get you through your homework. See you when I get back.